Okay, guys, we can start. So we will continue again from the thinkers portion. So this is the last session that I'm going to take for thinkers, and we will try to wind up with this. Okay. So we have around 20-30 questions for today. So let's quickly see that. In fact, all these questions we have discussed in the last 3 days, but it will be a repetition. But we are just looking for the different language, the words in which they have asked the same question. See, the first one, concept of ideal type and its limitation, is an easy one, direct one, straightforward one. I don't think I need to explain anything. We have done that explanation before also. So what you need to do is you need to talk about ideal types. Ideal type means regularities. That means regularly seen elements, right? For any related to any social phenomena. Weber have given this concept in order to study a phenomena objectively. Along with ideal types, according to Weber, you need to supplement other methods as well. You also need to mention that, like Verstehen, causal pluralism, all those things need to be mentioned along with this, because ideal type alone is not sufficient to make a objective analysis. You also talk about the other method which can be supplemented along with ideal types, and then briefly just write about Verstehen and then causal pluralism, right? One line, that's enough. Okay. And then you talk about ideal types are not realities in themselves, but when you combine, you will get the idea of reality, right? So individual elements are meaningless. For example, when you talk about family, the regularly seen elements like economic security, emotional security, sexual gratification, taking care of child, taking care of aged, all these are individual elements. But individually, if you take, that will not tell you it is family. Taking care of child care centers, taking care of aged old age homes, right? So you can't conclude it as family. But when you put together all these things, then you will get a picture of family. Okay, same is the case. And then explain with example how he constructed and used ideal types. You can write ideal types of historical particulars. That's what this one, Protestant ethic and spirit of capitalism, ideal type of particular behavior, ideal type of abstract phenomena. He constructed ideal types of bureaucracy and all those things that you can write as an example. Bureaucracy, talk about authority, talk about social action. Any one or two example is enough, but just mention these three. He constructed ideal type of historical particulars. He constructed ideal type of abstract phenomena. He constructed ideal type of a particular behavior. Okay, I have given example. You know the examples, just write from that. Now come to limitation. Guys, even if it is 10 marker, all these things need to be there. Only thing is that the way in which you will write has changed. But the content, almost all these things need to be there in your answer. Okay, because see, the question here is, first, obviously, you need to talk about what is ideal type, concept of ideal type. Then its limitation. Here I have not given you mark, so that means you can take it as 10 marker or 20 marker. In fact, this is actual UPSC question which was asked for 10 mark. So first part will be like concept of ideal type, around 80 to 90 words you'll be writing about that, and rest of your 40 to 50 words will be limitation. If you don't have too much of limitation, just write one or two. That will be enough. 2 or 3 is enough. Okay, for example, Weber talking about a trained investigator for constructing ideal types. Even with a trained investigator, there can be subjectivity. For example, Weber himself used this theory, which is completely subjective. Which example you will give, guys? Talk about Protestant ethic and spirit of capitalism. In that, when he constructed ideal type of Hindu religion, he had chosen those elements which is suitable for his conclusion. He want to tell that in India, capitalism did not arise because spirit was absent because of that particular religion. So he chose that particular ideal types of Hindu religion to suit his conclusion. So when you leave things like this to investigator, the subjectivity will be there, and that you can see clearly from his study. There are many other elements which can promote capitalism within Hindu religion. Hindu religion can also act as spirit. If you want, you can briefly, one line, talk about Milton Singer study, Industrialist of Madras, just one line. Okay, perfect. So it's a very simple, straightforward one. But the point is, all these things need to be incorporated one way or the other. Okay, guys? Any doubts? No, I am saying my words. You attended my classes, Ram, or a different class? No, I'm using the same words in the class and here. There is no difference. I don't understand. Maybe in these okay, different class you're taking. Okay, sorry. See, I don't know why you are feeling it difficult, because these are common. These words should be there in your answer. What I'm using is not like, these are not words from my side, from the thinker side. The same words that they have used is what I'm using. So if you are not aware of these words, then it is like, I don't think that many students here actually attended other coaching only, but I don't think that they are feeling any difficulty in that, because these are very, very common words which has to come. Every teachers will use the same. Okay, just take care of that. Read that notes and then, okay. Guys, this one, just that the statement is given in a twisted form. Otherwise, it's a clear, direct question. Social facts. Not all facts about human behavior are necessarily social facts. State the meaning of social facts and the method of studying them with reference to this statement. So this first one, you need to tell what is the meaning of social fact. Social facts are the ways of acting, thinking, and feeling which are external to individual and are endowed with the power of coercion by the reason of which they control over him. So talk about that, explain that, talk about the characteristics, externality, generality, constraints, individuality, and all those things. Then talk about the rules to study social fact. You know that rules of explanation, rules of distinction, rules of classification, rules of observation. These 4 rules, explain with example. And yesterday I've told you social facts need to be considered as things like a physical object in terms of collective representation, objective manifestation. All these things should come. And then this part, human behavior, are not necessarily social fact. You can talk about Weber criticism, right? The social facts are not like pebbles in the beach to just go and pick it like that. So this is going to be a direct, straightforward answer, and you don't have any problem with the content also here. Everything is clear, right? So very simple one. So here talking about characteristics and the studying rules and everything is there, but a detailed answer I've given to you. My notes I've given to you in that compilation, previous compilation. This is not complete. Guys, social system and social action. When you talk about social action according to Parsons, you will be first talking about Parsons, right? Any act is social. That definition you will write, and 4 conditions which is given by Parsons. So he is defining in a more comprehensive way than Weber. Just mention that Parsons defined social action in a more comprehensive manner than Weber. So he improved our Weber over there itself in the definition. Then when it comes to ideal type, these are the conditions, right? It should occur in a situation, social situation. There should be a goal, norms and values, investment of energy. But Weber is talking about any act is social, meaning should be there, orientation should be there. So here there is a small change, but this is not a big deal, right? Secondly, Weber also giving ideal types, Parsons also giving ideal types. You know that Weber giving 4 ideal types, Parsons is talking about 3 ideal types. And with this 3 ideal type, Parsons covers all the 4 ideal types discussed by Weber. So that is done. But what is the most important point that you need to discuss when it comes to Parsons? You need to tell about motivational value orientation. Weber is talking about motivational orientation. Parsons is talking about both motivational and value orientation. So this theory is much, much better. But still, what is the criticism? Criticism, you can generally talk about Parsons' mixed approach and his obsession for grand theory. His theories are not testable. Those are generally what you can use as a criticism. He is giving circular arguments, general criticisms only. Otherwise, with respect to the theory of social action, his theory is considered as the better one. If it is social system, you have so much of criticisms. Okay, so just write the general criticism and then conclude your answer. I've given it here. Here it is there. Middle range theory we discussed yesterday. What is the importance of Merton's middle range theory in sociology? Discuss critically. Now, here also they are saying critically discuss. So first discuss what is middle range theory, limited set of assumptions, why middle range, why not too elementary, why not too abstract. We have discussed that yesterday. Abstract theorization, there is no scope for testability, empirical testability. Elementary phenomena, there is no scope for generalization. So go for middle range theory, and you can make grand theory by combining all. Now, when you go for a criticism, I have given the criticism in detail for this in the notes, but you can simply say, Merton talking about grand theory by combining all these middle range theories and all, but he himself have never made any such grand theory. Moreover, if you take middle range phenomena and if you try to explain it, it also automatically lead to abstract generalization one way or the other without any possibility of empirical testability. So this one is very simple, right? Marxian and Weberian concept of social change. Okay. Meets notion of self, symbolic interactionism, just one theory, just study that. Yeah, and somebody was asking me about organic act last day. I and me. Why that doubt is there? Organic act is like that individual act. So there is a differentiation between organic act and social act. Individual act and social act. That's it. That's a personal act, right? And that 4 steps I have discussed, it is there in that 4 steps. Not here in that symbolic interactionism. I and me, what is the difference? I am teaching, and inside me is evaluating what I'm teaching. So that is a difference. It's like, guys, I have given that note. If you see, there is looking glass theory of Cooley's that you need to explain, and that 4 stages, play stage, game stage, all those you need to explain. I and me, you need to explain. That 4 stages, I think consummation, manipulation, right? Different perception. 4 stages are there. I can't remember exactly the 4 stages now, but I have given that in the notes. Yeah, manipulation. 2 are internal and 2 are external. That is what individual act. So individual act and social act is different, right? Collection of social act is what society. When you are interacting with some other person, that becomes a social act. That is what even Weber also talking about. That is what also Parsons is also talking about. All those are talking about social act. But Mead is talking about that individual act as well, social act as well. In a way, Weber and Parsons also do that. If that conditions are not met, those are individual act. That is what organic act. Or you drinking water, that is a organic act, even for Parsons and Weber. What are the 4 points? Can you just message? What was the first one? I don't remember. Second, manipulation, consummation are the last 2 points. First 2 points. Intuition, first one. Impulse, yeah. Impulse, and then perception. What is that? Perception, yeah. It's like every act, these 4 steps will be there. 2 are internal and 2 are external. So that impulse, like when you feel hungry, that is an impulse. That will come first. And then there will be a perception that you will perceive that you're hungry. And then there will be manipulation. You try to do something for the consummation of the food. So these are the 4 steps which are part of organic act. Okay, I've explained that in detail in the class and the video. So just go through that. There is organic act is the individual act. What is the difference between I and me? See, I'm teaching here, and then me is continuously evaluating whether I'm telling you the right thing or not. Right? This I take the initiative. Me inside will evaluate that initiative. For example, I go for a funeral and I may feel like laughing, seeing something. Some of the ceremonies I may feel like laughing, but me inside will tell that there's a funeral, and if you laugh at this place, people will take you as mad person, right? So that me is evaluating. That is what the function of these 2. Yeah, me will continuously tell you that you should not be doing it here. And me will be telling me from inside, this is the way you need to teach the students. I keep on doing things. I can do anything, but me evaluate. I'm the person who take initiative. I will take an action, initiative. Me evaluate whether it is correct or not. Okay? Guys, go through the video. This session is not for that. Social system, pattern variables we discussed yesterday. social system. If action oriented towards others and in a state of mutual reciprocity, interaction takes place, that will result into a social system if that condition satisfied. And then we have discussed about two phases, mechanism equilibrium and requisite functionalism. Mechanism equilibrium we have done in terms of moving equilibrium, social chains, cybernetic hierarchy of control and everything. And in the requisite functionalism, you'll be talking about AGIL model, functional requisites. Pattern variables, in terms of performing the roles, you face dilemma. Dilemma because of your choice towards motivational and value orientation. Okay, in traditional society, more of value, modern society, more of motivation. Societies in transition, more dilemma. And Parsons discussed 5 dilemma. And I've given you the combinations also, right? And universal achievement, like that combinations. For example, US society, Chinese society, Nazi society, Germany. I've given different examples also for that. Not, yeah, this one. Okay. So universal, the first one, American society, right? All these are given. Just go through that. Middle range theory again. Guys, you'll see repetition because these are the questions which have been asked in UPSC. Okay, so that's why the repetition is coming when I'm picking it from there, and different other test series which I've come across, Vision and others. So that's why the repetition is coming. But just look into the language. Middle range, directly here it is asked, it is 10 marker. Other way, middle range, in a different language it is asked. This is a classical question from marks which you can expect. It is not the consciousness of man that determines their existence. Instead of being, it is actually existence. Being is also correct. But on the contrary, their social being determines their consciousness. Discuss a statement in the light of Marx's notion of class struggle. So here they have talked about class struggle. In fact, class struggle is there in all the theory, right? Historical materialism, class struggle is there. Within class struggle, obviously you talk about class struggle. Alienation also, solution to that is talking about class struggle. So you can connect all the theories and you can write an answer for this. Alienation is very relevant in this, okay? Or you can use, according to Marx, economic infrastructure shapes superstructure, which in turn help in the functioning of economic infrastructure. Where the consciousness will come? Consciousness will come in the superstructure, which is shaped by economic infrastructure, system capitalism. That means the production process, right? That is what? This one. On the contrary, their social being determines their consciousness. Social being means your position in the production process. So economic infrastructure decides superstructure. Social being, part of economic infrastructure, the position in the production process. Consciousness, part of superstructure. Simple, that itself is enough for you to explain all these. Or use alienation and explain it. Okay? Self-alienation, that's what you can use more. Guys, any doubt in that one? Hegel, no need. Yeah, what is the point in talking about Hegel in this? No need to. If it is historical materialism, there he is using that dialectical materialism. Everywhere dialectical materialism, that first theory is where you need to talk about Hegel, otherwise no need to. Because it's a pure statement-based question, you don't want to bring in others. If it is 20 marker and if you don't have enough content, because here you will be facing problem in reducing the content. That much you have. I've told you need to write from all. Whatever you have learned in class struggle, alienation, and mode of production, everything you need to incorporate. So content-wise, you will not face any problem here. So no need. Let's just go through the criticism, Weber, Dahrendorf criticisms, okay? Man in society, society in man, meets view. So here, man in society, and then society in man. Rationality we have done yesterday. Bureaucracy is an example, rational legal authority. When you talk about rational legal authority, that is rationality only. Work rational action, Zweck rational action. Okay, so he's talking about rationality everywhere. Mainly bureaucracy. Okay. This one is easy. According to Durkheim, the role of religion is to maintain social order, where according to Weber, it helps in shaping new ways of thinking and acting. So Durkheim, it is a way of maintaining social order, integration. People are together in terms of similarity. All those who believe, all those who follow the same beliefs and practices will be united under the single moral community called a church. That's the function. On the other hand, if you look into Weber, it shaped new ways of thinking and acting. What you feel, whether you are going to enter into heaven or not. Doctrine of predestination, you don't know whether you will enter into heaven or not. Insecurity and tension that lead to intense worldly activity, as success is taken as an indicator of being chosen by God or not. So that's what you think, and that's how you act, and that acted as a spirit to capitalism. I've told you yesterday, comparison between Durkheim and Marx is more possible in terms of perspective, religion also, division of labor also, and Weber and Marx is more possible because of the reverse relation. But I have told you, I'll give you a question where you will be getting a question on comparison between Durkheim and Weber also. This is what. Okay. Anomy we discussed yesterday, all possible types of anomy. The same question I think we have seen yesterday, how anomy is both tolerant and harmful. When you see tolerant, talk about the functions of anomy. When you see harmful, dysfunctions of anomy. You don't want to talk about conformist. There is no anomy, there is no discrepancy. First stage of anomy, that is the innovator. How it is tolerant, scientist case in terms of hidden consequences, unintended consequences. It is function. It is a latent function. Okay. So scientist case, it is tolerant and it is functional for society. Robbers case, it is harmful for society. Okay. Similarly, even if you talk about ritualist, it can be tolerated, but still it is harmful for society because you are not achieving the goal. A bureaucrat who is supposed to follow certain rules and achieve the goal is very important. He's not following, that is harmful for society long term. Latent consequences, unintended consequences, it is harmful. Okay. Similarly, that rebellion examples which I've given you, terrorists and Naxalites and all those are again harmful. So there are direct and indirect, manifest and latent, intended and unintended. All these words you need to bring in. Okay. Social reformers, anomy situation because there is a discrepancy between means and goals. But is that tolerant? Is that functional? Yes. Okay. Guys, you have to make the table, explain the theory first, and then take up these examples: bureaucrat, teachers, scientists, robbers, social reformers, terrorists, drug addicts, saints, alcoholics. All these examples you take and explain one by one, which are tolerant, which are functional, which are not functional, which are harmful for society. Just because we have discussed it and I presume that you know the theory. I'm not going in depth of any theory. If we do that, we will not be able to complete the session. These criticisms you need to go through the standard criticism. This is a standard criticism. He cannot explain the politically motivated criminals and Albert Kahn. These two you can always write in this theory. Max Weber is more better in understanding the modern phenomena of capitalism in terms of bureaucracy, class polarization have not happened. Okay, Marx to an extent is a failure in visualizing the modern capitalism. Modern capitalism is actually modified version of the capitalism. In fact, there is a very famous saying that Marx have saved capitalism because of Marxian writings. Capitalist and capitalism have undergone drastic changes and have started a lot of welfare policies and measures so that revolution will not happen. Go through this is a direct and simple one. You know both, so no problem in this. Both of them are different opinions, no? Marx and Weber both are talking differently about capitalism. Marx is talking about exploitation, inequality, and all. Weber is talking about in terms of efficiency, bureaucracy, and all those dimensions. In terms of class polarization, also contrasting views. I've told you yesterday also there is a very famous saying. All these PDFs are shared in the application. Social system again. Organic solidarity, organic mechanical solidarity. Somebody was asking some question today in group. What is that? You understood now his concern? Oh, yeah, his concern for maintaining moral. I don't remember the question. Somebody answered also. Yeah, regarding morality. Yes, Shiva, you were asking, and somebody answered that question. Is that clear? Increasing moral density, and he is very much concerned that the collective conscience is actually coming down. Correct? Yes. Okay. Perfect. Otherwise, this is a very simple one. Guys, this one yesterday we have seen. Somebody was asking me about this last day. I think Puneet was asking me about this. Alienation, is it how is it relevant in understanding the modern capitalist society? I have answered that question, and I hope that is clear that day itself. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Puneet. Yes. But this we have discussed it. In fact, if this question was not there, but this guy was asking me that question, so we've done that, and different other perspectives given here. Conclusion, you can write both. Still alienation is there, you can write. Okay, but at the same time, there are a lot of opportunities there. But the alienation that you see now, there are in some situations there are more dangerous forms of alienation. You are even alienated from self than what Marx have seen. But at the same time, there are opportunities. The mobility is so high in the modern society. All those things you can write. So the creativity is so high. See how Facebook have come up like this, right? How this Byju's and all these have come up like this. This is so Amazon and all these are clear examples that you can see in front of you, right? So the possibility of creativity is more in the modern society. These are standard criticisms. Robert Brunner, I've told last session. Marcuse, Althusser, material and non-material social facts. Material social facts are the observable social facts. Non-material, indirectly observable social facts. Indirectly observable social facts is where Durkheim talked about objective manifestation, collective representation and all. Okay. In sociology, mostly you will be finding non-material social facts, mostly. That's the reason, that's the criticism mainly, right? You cannot consider it as things. But Durkheim said it is difficult, but it is not impossible. Objective manifestation or the collective representation. Guys, this is all about how you write this answer. Durkheim's body of work remains important. To what extent? You can talk from suicide, right? Durkheim talk about problem of integration and regulation. So still farmers, suicide and all these things you can explain. And then tell that Durkheim theory actually helps in understanding the integration and regulation problems which are still prevail in society. Thereby, you can control suicide and you can take appropriate measures and all. That is something which you can write. Division of labor, you can write again from Durkheim's perspective, is we seek in others what we lack in ourselves. So there is an integration in the society where it is so heterogeneous. Directly, you can write from that. In religion also. Towards the end, you need to talk about to what extent it is not relevant. Whenever they're asking this word, relevant is there in your question. If you see this word relevant, you should be talking about the relevance. How to answer a question related to relevance? First, you should tell to what extent it is relevant. Then you need to say to what extent it is not relevant. So theory of religion, is it completely relevant? No, you can use Marx, you can use Merton to criticize that. So you need to tell that. Also, you need to tell the extent of use done by the future theorists and thinkers. Is these theories have been used by any future thinkers or is approach and perspective? Yes or no? That's what you need to write. That's how you can explain the relevance. Or is these theories are helping the state to formulate policies? Yes or no? Okay, so these are what you need to accommodate in your answer. Answer, you can read. Ideal type we discussed, no problem in this. The term, the words are different, it is a twisted one. Weber's, it's a good contribution in contemporary sociology. You can critically examine. This is what the first question we started with. Ideal type had its limitation. Critically examine the concept of ideal type, both are the same. Okay, same answer is what given. Merton's functionalism is far ahead of classical functionalist. Elaborate the statement. Guys, if this question is asked, this Merton jump on it, and here they have asked about classical functionalist. Okay, so first you should be talking about Auguste Comte's functionalism, which is based on consensus. Herbert Spencer, his approach. Then Malinowski, if you know individual functionalism, Redcliffe Brown, psychological functionalism. Okay, all these functionalism. Then Durkheim, Parsons. So discuss about all these functionalists. Discuss about the criticism of all these functionalists in general, like illegitimate teleology, ignorance of conflict, lack of use of methods. All these are the criticisms. And explain Merton's approach to improve over all these and why he is called as father of neo-functionalism. Talk about postulates. Talk about the concepts he introduced, right? Dysfunction, net balance, non-function, alternative, all these will come in the postulates. Talk about manifest and latent function, middle range theory, functional paradigm. Do you think that is going to be a very good answer? How many thinkers you have mentioned here? Comte, Spencer, Malinowski, Redcliffe Brown, Durkheim, Parsons, and then Merton. All these criticisms and these new concepts. It's going to be full of content. Guys, any one of you don't know about any of these, then you have to do it, okay? Because these are very basic things that I'm discussing. Very, very basic. Direct one, division of labor according to Marx, you need to talk about alienation, okay? Mead, self, symbolic interactionism. Social system. Same, this adaptation, goal attainment, integration, latency, AGIL model. Okay, this is a random question which is taken. Social forces in the development of sociological theories. It can be political revolution, industrial revolution. Okay, so different social forces, the development of feminism, socialism, okay, urbanization, religious aspects, growth of science. All these can be different forces, not part of thinkers, but randomly we have taken the question. All the family, just think about it, Mike. Then you just message me, I'll check it. I have already shared all these PDFs in the application, and I have told you, I think everybody have the access to the application. I have told you to go with that when it was available in the application for 89, then you should have taken it. If you have taken it, you will get everything there. I'll try to share it because it is impossible for me to share in all the groups. That's why we are trying to make it a system. Okay. So even if WhatsApp I share, then too much of messages, it will miss. That's why that system is created. That is going to do the things, which is going to be available for you. Whatever updates I do, everything will be there. What is this idea of functional indispensability? This classical functionalist approach, Durkheim's approach, Malinowski's approach. What is that? Something is existing means it is indispensable. It is inevitable. and there is no others which can perform the same function the way it is doing. Guys, to an extent it is correct only, but Merton is giving functional alternative. Okay, for example, family. Just before I've told you, taking care of child care center is an alternative. Old age home is an alternative. But what is going to be the criticism here? Can anyone tell me what is the criticism? You need to write one criticism at least towards the end. What is the criticism that you're going to write? Just tell me what logically you think and tell me what is the criticism. Durkheim and all is considering these as necessity inevitable, and unable to take care means that's any kid can write. Functional alternative is a concept which is given by Merton for this, but we need to criticize the alternative. Unable to take care of child by others, that is not correct. They can take care. No dysfunction, no school, no. It has been criticized on the basis of relative importance. Which one is taking care or which one is doing that function much more better way? The relative importance is very important. Okay. Loss of consciousness. I'm getting so much of interesting answers. What is this? If you can elaborate it, that will be really good. I don't understand why loss of consciousness in that. Okay, so I'm talking about the relative importance, whether family or old age home, whether childcare center or family, which one is better, which one will do good. Okay, so I've told you right answer. That is what I'm saying. It is the relative importance. That's the point. Max Weber's ideal type, utility, use, how Weber used and how you can use. Okay. The history of hitherto existing society is the history of class struggle. Guys, what does that mean? All existing society, if you take history, it has come through class struggle. Class struggle acts as motor of history. So every society you see have gone through a lot of struggle and then reached at the stage. Okay, theory of mode of production, historical materialism, explain that, critically comment also. You know what all criticisms you need to write. That is what we have done in the class 4 sessions. Okay. Cult of an individual, that is related to organic solidarity. Okay. Modern form of collective conscience is what Durkheim called as cult of the individual. In the organic solidarity, the traditional society, there was a collective conscience that has been reduced. In the modern society, in the organic solidarity, we are integrated and connected in terms of, like organs in the body, in terms of a dependency which is created, in terms of the needs that we need to satisfy. So there is a modern collective conscience which is emerged. That is what cult of the individual. A new group has been created like that. Just read that. Explain the concept of social change. Critically examine the contribution of Karl Marx's theory of social change. So first you need to tell the concept of social change. Explain that. So here you need to tell Parsons social change, Durkheim social change, Weber social change. What is Weber social change? Protestant ethic and spirit of capitalism. What is Parsons? Cybernetic hierarchy of control and moving equilibrium. Just keep these points in mind. Never forget it again. I'm telling this again and again. What is Durkheim? Mechanical to organic solidarity. And you will be studying more other social changes in your 10th chapter. Immanuel Wallerstein, Andre Gunder Frank, cyclical theories, different theories that you'll be studying in chapter 10. That's not that significant. And then that is the first part. People generally talk only about Marx and critically analyze Marx. First part is entirely different. This one, concept of social change, there you talk about all these thinkers. That is divided like this, 10 mark and 10 mark. Then talk about Marx theory of social change. Then critically analyze Marx theory of social change. Perfect. So if you go with that approach, this 10 mark, you have enough and more content. Then Marx theory of social change, you know that very well. Make it as 5 mark. And then critically analyze Marx theory, that also 5 mark. So I'm going to split this into 10 mark, this one. Marx theory of social change, 5 mark. Critically examine Marx theory, 5 mark. And if you take all these as independently and combine it together, you're going to get very good score. Otherwise, if you take this as a single question and 20 mark, what you're going to do, guys? Most of you will just keep on writing marks. In fact, in this answer also, simply talking about marks, ignoring the other dimensions which I've discussed, but that's not the case. First, divide this question into 2, 10, 10. Then answer this for 10 mark. Take that 120, 130 words. And then take this part and then explain Marx theory of social change. Consider it as a 5-mark question. And then criticisms of that theory. Marx is a macro sociologist, use Weber. Marx is using conflict, use Durkheim. Talk about Dahrendorf, okay, decomposition of capital. Talk about Asiatic mode of production. All those you can write. Sacred and profane, we discussed it already. Social strain theory, it is not there in the syllabus. I've added this. Just go through that. Not asked so far. Not there in the syllabus. But there is a strain theory in the chapter 10. That's by another thinker for social change. Worth rational action. You know what is worth rational action, right? Like moral action. How is it important in the world today? It is actually important, but nobody is willing to do this kind of action, right? So because of the increasing, competition and all, people will not be doing much this one. This involves sacrifice. So people won't do. Zweck rational action is more in the competitive world, which is achievement oriented. I've given an example for this. Can anyone tell me the example which I've given for worth rational action? Captain dying with sinking ship, soldiers dying in battlefield, all those. Okay, that means there is an element of sacrifice in these actions done to uphold the moral values of society, this action. Now again, but this one, I'm telling you this is less relevant today. Relevant, but people don't do much. But still, if you want to write it in a positive way, you can do that. It is all about the way you are taking it and the way you understood it and the way you are writing it. My objective is to tell you what is worth rational action. You can take it in any way, the way you conceived it. Based on that, you can write a very innovative answer, guys. Okay. Religion is the opium of masses and an instrument of classes, right? The upper class can use it as an instrument, and for masses, it is just acting as opium. Many times I've discussed, religion is the heart of heartless world, soul of soulless condition, and is opium of masses. Because of that, people are not going for revolution. So religion prevent the masses from going for a revolution by promising the heaven in the next world, right? Next life. So if you get exploited maximum in this life, then only you will get that happiness in the next life. That's the fake, false assumptions and the belief which has been injected into the minds of the masses. Suicide is a social fact we discussed yesterday, guys. Say. Oh, the answer here which is given is different. Okay, that is the answer for this, need. No, something happened here. Okay, so this is a question. The answer is not given because we have discussed it already. This is another question, guys. Today's internet addiction, apply Mead's theory. How can you answer this? There's another question, answer for that is given. Okay. Marxism has lost its relevance. Examine the statement with suitable evidence. See, this is one dimension. If you want to, you can tell that Marxian theories are still relevant. Why it has lost its relevance, you can tell. Why it is still relevant also, you can tell. So if you go through the PDF which I've given yesterday, the compilation, in that there is a section relevance. That will actually give the answer for this. And the criticisms, if you take, that will tell you why it lost its relevance. Take the criticism to write this part. Take the relevance to write the other part, second part. Both need to be there. Whenever you see, that's what I'm telling you again and again. whenever you see the word relevance, you have to write to what extent it is relevant, to what extent it is not relevant. Both need to be there. Postmodernity. Weber theory of religion as a factor of social change. Religion as a factor of social change. Protestant ethic. Is social change is evolutionary or revolutionary? For Marx, it is essentially revolutionary because change of mode of production is required. Because the problems are permanent and not temporary. So revolution is there. When the mature condition exists, there should be a true consciousness and the revolution should be there to transform the society. The qualitative change is required. For Parsons, it is evolution. Specific mechanisms fulfill the needs, keep in equilibrium. When there is a problem, that cybernetic hierarchy of control we discussed, if there is a break in the flow of energy or information, there will be a disturbance. That means the equilibrium break. Then the continuous that feedback will be given. Mechanisms will act. So new things will evolve, new laws will evolve, new mechanisms will evolve and bring back equilibrium. That is what social change. So Parsons, these issues are temporary. It will solve through evolution. Okay. Marx, revolution. You know both. You need to explain both. I've just given you the way in which you will proceed. Cybernetic hierarchy of control. You know that the diagram which I've given you, 4 action systems, information flow, energy flow. If there is a break in the flow, the equilibrium will break. Division of labor comparison between Durkheim and Marx, discussed it already. Manifest latent functions, no problem. Historical materialism, no problem. Durkheim understanding of division of labor shifted from economic significance to social. You know that. Discussed also yesterday. Historical materialism, social action, theory of anomy, symbolic interactionism, anticipatory socialization, reference group we discussed, class and lifestyle, class and lifestyle should actually come in the chapter on stratification. But since Weber discussed about lifestyle, it has been given here also. Okay, guys, that's it. We have done with thinkers. Anything you want to ask or any doubts you have, you can discuss now. We have 10 minutes. Guys, I hope these 4 sessions are very useful to all of you because actually I've planned only 2 sessions and I thought I'll quickly discuss all these thinkers and 1 session for that and 1 session for question. But when we started discussing, a lot of questions have come. So even though it is repetitive, but I've tried to do my maximum. If I try to teach you at this level, this is going to be difficult because some of my students are also attending the session. So it is not possible for me to teach things here. That is not our agenda. We are here only to discuss the type of questions and pattern. Okay, so I'm expecting this is going to be, we have already made a commitment in the beginning that you have already done sociology and then you're attending this answer writing program. So the point is, the assumption is you know everything. So I'm expecting this is giving you a very good revision. This 4 days that you had spent with me, I think I've covered everything from thinkers. Whatever I know, guys, I have explained. Beyond this, even I don't know. That's why I've kept like this and I've done maximum possible. Whatever I know, I've explained it based on the questions. I might not have discussed some of the questions because whatever questions I've seen, I've tried to explain things which I know. That is what I can do maximum. Okay. Yeah, moral significance, Shiva, that is what you are asking today also. The same thing. Collective conscience, moral density, that one. He explained modern society in terms of that.
Sir?
Yeah, Ankur, if you
Hello?
have learned that how to interconnect and these dimensions, that was that is what I wanted to do. Most of you know the theory. Most of you know everything what is there in the syllabus. There is no problem in that. But the way you try to interconnect these thinkers is what is actually more required. That is what the demand of the exam these days.
Sir?
Yes, tell me.
Hello?
Yes, tell me.
Sir, question like how social action related to wider society, then what should be there in our answer?
Sorry, can you repeat it?
Sir, question like social action, how it is related to wider society, then what should be in there our answer?
No, the social actions are actually forming the collectivity and society. All these actions are what the formation of society. So it is completely these individual actions, which are social action, which will culminate into the social formation. That is how it is relevant. That is why you need to study. So what Weber says is these micro realities, the social action is a micro reality. It is a meaning generated in the mind of the individual. So the action is coming out of the meaning of the individual. But these actions, these social actions will ultimately form the social reality of the society, which is the macro reality. So Weber argued that these micro phenomena lead to macro reality. Like the meanings generated in the minds of the people, they started doing certain actions based on the religious beliefs, right? So that is the meaning generated. They did some social action that led to the development of what? What? Capitalism, which is a macro reality, right? So that is how it is relevant. It is an approach, right? It is a perspective, micro to macro. Durkheim will say the different things. Social facts lead to social action.
So, sir, we can quote here ideal type and causal function.
Why you need to talk about ideal types? If you want to, then you can write it, but not necessary.
Because sir, it is asking that how it is related to wider society. That is why I am confusing.
That is what I've told you just now. How is it related to wider society? The social actions, which is micro, will lead to macro reality, whether it is society, whether it is capitalism. All the macro phenomena are generated through social actions done by individual, right? So that is what you need to explain. In case if you need, you can talk about ideal types, but that's not necessary here. Anomy and alienation is somewhat same.
Answers.
They will ask you question also, compare. Yeah. Tell me.
And sir, if only asking about what is social action, then can we quote Durkheim and Parsons both or one?
See, you need to first talk about Weber, then talk about Parsons. No need to mention about Durkheim. When
Sorry.
writing,
Yes. Weber.
yes. Paper 2, you can quote paper 1 thinkers, but not vice versa. Exceptions are there, like questions like common sense. Then Andre Bethel have studied something and he have said something, so you can use that. So comparison between different subjects there you can use, but not here. Family, chapter on family you can use. There are some areas where you can use paper 2 thinkers here, but mainly use paper 1 thinkers in paper 2, not vice versa. Indian thinkers, not much contribution, guys. Okay, so we will stop here. See you. I'll update that in the group, guys. Next Wednesday, I think. Okay.